All right, here we go. We're live. We're going live. I see some data coming through. We're live.
We're live.
We're live and we're on time. It is 2 o'clock on the button, and we are ready to rock and roll and get this show on the road. Whew. Could be good stuff today, I think. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some video embedding and players and all that kind of fun stuff for your website because... well, we'll talk about why, because some of the issues with YouTube. We love YouTube, don't get us wrong. I don't want, a couple years ago, Steve, I talked about Facebook video or something like that, and the next thing I knew, I had an article written about me about how I had abandoned YouTube and I don't like it anymore.
What?
And I was a fraud because I've abandoned YouTube and don't like it anymore. That was the article that was written.
Where was that written in?
You know what? I can't even remember. I just remember somebody passing it to me, and it was kind of annoying. Oh, one of my lights, the battery just died.
Uh-oh.
That's all right. We'll live without it. We shall live without it. Maybe I'll make a little adjustment.
We shall overcome.
I'll do a faux adjustment here, maybe, if it wants to do it for me. I switched. There we go. So now I'm a little brighter. So is that background, though. I switched. I had, since upgrading, we talked about this last week, since upgrading the Mac to the newest version, the old camera controller that I used, the software, it doesn't work anymore. So I switched over to another one which has a lot more controls, but I don't know if I like it as much. It's okay. It's all right. It works. It does its job.
You look good for the way you look.
I do, especially with this hair being all over
That's
the
good.
thing.
Yeah.
I look like I was struck by a lightning bolt, and the lights behind me are kind of turning my hair a reddish pink color there.
You stuck your finger in a socket.
I know, I did. So you can see, before we get started, just to have a little bit of fun here and kind of shoot the breeze before we get going on all of that stuff, you can see I got the little mustache thing going on here a little bit, just a little bit. I did an experiment with this a couple of weeks ago because next weekend we have rented this old house. And we've got people coming there, and we're doing a weekend-long murder mystery.
Ooh.
So it's an entire weekend with all sorts of things planned. It takes place in the 1890s, so we had to get 1890s style costuming.
Wow.
And my character is kind of a snake oil salesman.
Oh, well,
so he's very similar to... Dr. Terminus on Pete's Dragon. So if you ever watch Pete's Dragon, you remember Dr. Terminus.
I do.
That's kind of my goal. So I've got to grow a little bit of the curly mustache. And I tried it a couple of weeks ago, and it grew so fast that I was like, oh, forget this. I'm not keeping this thing for a month because I hated it from day one. So I shaved it off. So now I've got a week to try and grow something back here. We'll see if I can do it or not. I'm not sure. But it should be a lot of fun. We're going to have an entire weekend in this it's at this... this place, and it's called the Mill House, and the house that we rented there, it's this old house in a field, and it's got a mill attached to it, and there's like an old country store that's there, and there's an old house on the other side, and big fields, and if you go back a little further, they've got a whole hotel there and everything. They do weddings out there and everything else, but we rented the front half of this for I think it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of us, maybe 16 or 17 of us, somewhere around there. And my wife and a friend of hers wrote the entire script and created all the characters and put it all together. And so they've been working on it for a long time.
You guys are serious. You going to make any money off of this, or is it?
No. This one's just for fun. But like I told them, I said, "Hey, this works. This is something people will pay a lot of money for. We'll go rent other places and bring people in and charge them money for this because they put in a couple months worth of work on writing all this stuff. I mean, it's very complex.
Wow.
So
we'll see. That's impressive.
That's impressive. We'll see. Maybe it's terrible. Yeah. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll
find out.
So I can say it. But we'll know. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm joking about that. But, we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. One of the guys coming is a friend of mine, and he's a photographer, so we should get a lot of good pictures. I know there's a nice moon going to be out while we're out there, so he's going to be taking some photos of that.
Oh, yeah.
As he does a lot of nighttime shots and some really cool stuff. So anyway, that's just why I'm, keeping this ridiculous. I just barely started it in the last 2 days, but it already looks ridiculous. but we'll see how it goes from there.
Well, but if you got to have a mustache, at least you can grow one.
It's better than sticking one on there and then having it bug me the whole weekend. So
well, see, that was the next thing I was going to say is why don't you just get one you stick on there? But,
they're terrible. If you ever tried to do one, those things are awful.
No.
So I may still have to. You never know. We'll have to see how it goes in a few days. But
I did have one of those. I did have one of those nose glasses and beard combinations at one time.
I used to wear those when I was driving. I used to call them my driving glasses. I used to wear them all the time. So when I got in the car, I'd put on my driving glasses, which was the nose and the mustache and the glasses.
Did you ever get any looks?
Oh, many, many, many times. Many times. It was a lot of fun. That was probably, 15 years ago I used to do that. Those are annoying, too, by the way. Those things itch the heck out of your face.
Yeah,
and
I know.
And, it's awful.
Yep.
But I used to trim it. I used to trim the mustache on it so that it wouldn't come down so far.
Well, little known fact, but this right here, this is a nose, glasses, and beard combination. I don't know if you knew that.
That is. It is.
I take it off every night.
Nice.
So
Nice.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So let's get into the actual show here because we're 6 minutes in and people are probably going, shut up and start doing the show. So all three of you that are watching, we'll get this thing going in just a second here. In fact, I haven't even double checked to make sure that we're actually live on the air. I assume we are because it says we are.
We are. We are.
Oh,
and I shared it. I shared it to the Facebook page.
So did it not do the auto share again?
Oh, hold on. Let me look.
Let me
Give
take a look
seconds.
and see here. And it says 2 shares, which I assume are both you, Steve Sleeper and Video Marketing Madness. So it is not sharing automatically. I'm going to have to go see why good old Live Leap has stopped working. It's probably I know. You know what? I bet you I know exactly what it is. Facebook did a reset on all the stuff, and so I had to reconnect everything. So I bet you it's got to be reconnected in there and let it know, hey, you got to reconnect it. So that's probably why it's not doing it. So I'm going to share it right now to one of the other pages at least, so that because I know we get some traffic out of that one.
Oh,
okay. Share it to one of the other groups here before we get started. Sure. And that's the online. Oops, wait. Share in a group. Group name. There we go. Online Video Marketers Group. Which, if you're not a part of, by the way, look it up. Online Video Marketers Group. We share videos there, and every once in a while, people post spam, and we kick them out, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're not a member of that, be sure to join because it can be a lot of fun. We can have some fun there. You'll like it. I'm going to share it to my offline video marketing group manually as well because I know there's a couple of people that do like to watch it from there, so we'll paste it in there as well.
Okay.
All right, there we go. We're ready. We are live in living color, ready to get this show underway. So with that, again, we're going to talk about video players for your website and a few other things as well. And so if we're ready to get started, then we'll do it in 5, 4, 3. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about video players for your website. Now, of course, Steve, most of us use YouTube on our website, but there are some downsides to that we're going to talk about and why you may want to use a different platform for putting your videos on your website and why you may want to use a specialized player when you do so. So, today's episode, by the way, made possible by our Rep Videos webinar that we're going to be doing on October 30th, the day before Halloween. And it's going to be something that everyone's going to want to attend because this is going to teach you not only how you can easily start doing a video marketing business, helping local businesses, but how you can provide them with videos on a almost completely automated basis. It's going to help you to find and contact those clients with videos, and it's going to show you how to make videos for them so that every week or every month you can be doing videos. And you're going to learn all about that, plus a whole bunch of other really cool tricks on the webinar, October 30th. Be sure to register. The link is down below, and it's too long for me to recite, so you'll have to look down there to click it. Yes, it's one of those GoToWebinar 8-mile-long URLs that I couldn't possibly remember, or even try to remember. So be sure to do that. All right, and with that, this long-winded intro, let's hit the music so we can get ourselves started here. And here we go. And I hit the wrong thing, maybe.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's very good.
Okay.
Can you find it?
Something
Do we
else
need to
popped
sing
up
it?
here. No, I don't know what I did there. I did something wrong. Is it this
I'll
one?
edit
Maybe it's
it.
this one here.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
And it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray, the video guy over there, and I'm Steve Sleeper, and I'm really looking forward to that webinar coming up. I think it's Wednesday? Is it Wednesday?
Thursday the 30th.
Okay.
Halloween being Friday.
Yeah, I sort of freaked out the other day because I told myself after I got done editing the show and posting up the audio and stuff, I was going to sign up for it, and I forgot. And so like Monday or Tuesday, I just, has it happened already? Did I miss it?
No. Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, yeah.
Well worth it. You will love it. You will love it.
And the link is below. If you're listening to the audio, it's in the show notes. If you're watching the Facebook Live, it's either on top or on bottom, but it's there.
It is indeed there. And like I said, it's going to be about Rep Videos. Rep Videos is a program. Well, let me explain. Rep Videos is not just a program. We'll say it's a program because it makes videos, but it's really, it's an entire ecosystem. It's more than just a program that makes videos. It's a whole video marketing system in one platform. And you go in there and you put in a business's name, and it pulls them up and pulls in all their information, makes custom videos for them, automated, sends them out. It's really cool. In fact, I've got a video that I made yesterday when I was doing that for one of my clients. So I made a video about how that works. I'm going to post that at some point in time, probably after the show today, so people can kind of see that. It's kind of a long video because it goes through a lot of the things in there. But be assured, the webinar is not really going to be a whole lot about the program itself. I mean, yes, we're going to talk about Rep Videos and whatnot, but it's going to be mostly a marketing training webinar. So you're going to learn all of the tricks of marketing with video and whatnot. And then we're going to talk about the actual program and whatnot, and then try to get you to buy in on it, because it is well worth it to do so.
And it's David Sprague, right?
It is David Sprague, indeed.
Good man.
Smart man, does a lot of good stuff. So
I know when his Reputation marketing program first came out, I know of a few people made a ton of money off of that just by working it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a miracle.
We use
they
Rep
worked it.
Kahuna. We use Rep Videos. We use Lead Kahuna. I use the local analyzer. So I've got Prospect Rocket. I don't use as much yet because that's the more adult program. And adult, by adult, I mean you have to actually learn how to use it, and it's a full suite. So I just haven't had the chance to go in and really learn that one yet. But all those other programs, they work together with Prospect Rocket to really go out and reach these folks, and that's a full CRM, so it's...
Oh, okay. See, I use Lead Kahuna, but I'm not familiar with Prospect Rocket, so I'll find out Thursday.
Yes. You will learn more on Thursday about all these wonderful things, so...
Yeah.
Should be a lot of fun. Be sure to be there. Click the link down below. Join us.
Yeah,
but today, of course...
I can't say enough about that. Now, back to Ray.
Yes. For today, we're going to be talking much more about video players for your website. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is there's a lot of things going on YouTube, and, every once in a while I get messages from people. It's like, I don't want to use the YouTube player on my site, or I don't want to host my videos on YouTube because, this could happen, or my channel got banned. What do I do now? There's a lot of different reasons that people contact me about this particular subject. And I want to kind of throw an A and a B column in here, because there are reasons to not use YouTube and there are reasons to use YouTube. In fact, we did one of the episodes a little while back about embedding YouTube videos onto your website and why that's such a good thing to do. And now we're going to talk about why it's a bad thing to do, because it really can be both. Now, I'm never really going to say it's a bad thing. What I am going to say is that there are opportunities for it to go bad. Now, for those of you watching, I'm going to be switching my earplugs here because I use one at a time, and this one has reached the time to get battery into it. So switching that there, and hopefully I can still hear everything at this point, which I believe I can. So
you're so high tech,
or not, or maybe I can't hear it at all. So let's. So, folks, here's the behind the scenes as I try to reconnect this here because it was connected to my phoneo. So we're going to
Can you hear me now?
get this all straightened out here. So my apologies as we go through all of this.
Doesn't Ray look stupid?
And because, let's see. Oh,
He
here we
can't
go.
hear me. We can say all kinds of things about him.
Messing all this up on everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
And it says my earpods were disconnected because I hit the disconnect button.
Ray
Boy, I'm
has a
having
lot
fun
of.
here. All right.
He has a lot
Let's
of
see if we get
wax
this
in
back.
his
Steve
ears.
is probably saying all sorts of wonderful things
Yeah.
as we go through this. So
Yeah.
give this a
He's
second.
got
Come on,
boogers
boys.
hanging out of his nose.
And it's yelling at me here.
Yeah.
Oh, because I've got to switch back to.
Ray's mother wears army boots.
And oh boy, this is fun.
Yeah. You're having one of those days.
So
Can't hear
anyway,
me.
even though I can't hear Steve, I'm going to continue with the show for now until I can hear him again, which hopefully will be shortly. The bottom line is that there are positives and negatives to this, and let's talk about the reasons why you would want to put YouTube videos on there, which again we talked about a couple of weeks ago in another episode. So some of the reasons that you would want to put the YouTube videos on your website is because you can actually make a nice connection between your website and the other and YouTube. So in other words, you put a video on YouTube, you optimize it for whatever you're trying to do. So let's say you're a local dentist, you're going to put your local dentist video on your YouTube channel. You're going to optimize it like crazy for whatever it is on your website that you're going to be talking about. If it's about tooth whitening, you're going to optimize it for tooth whitening. You're going to go back to your webpage and you're going to put that optimized video with the YouTube player on your tooth whitening page, and that's going to put this nice connection. They're going to work synergistically, and they're going to help each other to rank both the video and the website, and that's going to be a wonderful thing. However, there are some downsides to this, and the downside to this would be that let's say that you put your dentist videos onto your website, and what happens? Well, all of a sudden YouTube decides that you did something they don't like. Uh-oh. What do? They suddenly ban you. They take you right off of that page, and guess what? When they do, you're out of luck. You've now got a spot on your page where there's no information, and it's just going to have that big hole that says, this video doesn't exist. And YouTube is in control of that. So you need to decide which one is more important to you. Is it that synergistic balancing, or is it that making sure that you have control of the video? My personal preference is this. If you're going to if you've got a dentist website or whatever it is, and you've got a specific page with a specific video that matches, use the YouTube embed on that page. So your tooth whitening page, put your tooth whitening embed from YouTube on there, because if something happens and it goes away, at least it's on one of your interior pages, and you can go and you can make changes if you need to, even if you don't get to it immediately. And that's going to be a big help for you. But on your front page, if that video disappears, that could be a problem and not look too good for you. So what I would recommend is for your front page, if you're going to put a video specific to your business on your front page, that you use something other than YouTube to do this, just so that you have control over your business. You have control over your, over where your stuff is being held, so that you don't have to worry about a giant big black box being on your front page. And so there are some options you may want to go with for this, and it deals with two things here. We're talking about hosting, and we're talking about the video player itself. And so there's a few different options when it comes to hosting. One, you can use YouTube's embedded player. You could also use YouTube as the source, but use your own player, or you could host your video on somewhere else. Now, some of the more popular places that you can host it, a lot of people host their videos on Vimeo. Vimeo. The problem with Vimeo is they are much more likely to ban your video out of nowhere than YouTube ever would. Even if you pay for the pro version of Vimeo, I've found that they just randomly shut you down. Vimeo is much more of a artsy-fartsy sort of website. And if you're not doing fun, artistic things and you're doing stuff that's business-related, they'll randomly shut you down. So for me, Vimeo is not an option. A lot of people like it, and that's fine. I just personally, I'm not a big fan of Vimeo. They've pulled the plug on things with me too many times for me to trust them ever again. So I would not use them as an option, but they are a viable option. They've got a very nice player, and it does a good job as long as they don't ban you and remove your videos. So the next option that you could go with is a paid option, the most popular of which is Wistia, Wistia. Wistia, you want to think of this as YouTube for businesses. So what you do is you pay Wistia a fee to be able to host your videos on Wistia, and Wistia has a fast video playback system similar to YouTube, so you're not going to deal with a lot of well, in theory, you're not going to deal with a lot of like pauses and breakdowns and load times and all of that. They're built for video. And so they should be just as fast as YouTube. You're going to be paying a premium for this, and it's not cheap sometimes, depending on how much you're doing. It's not always the cheapest option, but it is a good quality option. They give you a player that you can embed on your site, just like YouTube does, and it's a much more professional player. For those of you who use YouTube's player, you know what I'm talking about. YouTube's player literally has more bells and whistles and icons and everything else all over that player than you could possibly imagine. I believe we counted 13 different ways you could click on a YouTube video to leave your page. And that includes related videos, that includes the link back to your channel, the link back to YouTube. You know, there's just a ton of these little buttons and everything that would take you off of your page and back to YouTube. With Wistia, you get your own player. It's going to be more clean, and you're not going to have to worry about those types of things. But again, you're going to pay for this. It's not going to be the cheapest option. The next option is what we call self-hosted. And this is where you physically put your video on a self-hosted platform. And really, self-hosted is not the right word, because most of the time people are putting this on something like Amazon S3, which is an inexpensive place to store items. Now, you can store everything from PDFs to pictures to software and everything in between. You can put those onto S3, and you can put videos on S3. The problem with that is if your videos are popular, again, you're going to start paying for it. Probably not as much as Wistia unless it's really popular. But what Amazon S3 does is you put your stuff up on their platform, and then the more that it streams down, the more you're going to pay. So if you get 8 million people that watch your video, it's going to cost more than if 20 people watch your video. And if 20 people watch your video, they're probably not going to charge you anything because they have a free threshold, and then when you go over that. With Amazon, you never know how much you're going to end up paying until it's already happened. So for me, I've had Amazon bills from $300 in a month to $1,500 in a month, and have no idea until they go, oh my gosh, $1,500. So you want to be careful with that. But for most people, you know, a dental business, a lawyer firm, whatever it happens to be, probably not going to use a lot of space in there. It's not going to cost much because you're not getting millions of people watching your plumbing video for a small town. You know, you're getting maybe 300 people a month, 500 people a month. So it's not going to cost you much to do that. Probably a couple of bucks, if anything. Another option that I actually use is what's called Wasabi. Now, Wasabi, W-A-S-A-B-I, is basically the same thing as S3. In fact, I believe it actually is S3. I'm not 100% positive of that, but I'm pretty sure it is S3. But another company owns a portion of space on S3 and is allowed to resell it. And they sell it for much cheaper than Amazon does. In fact, my $500 to $1,500 monthly bills when I switched to Wasabi dropped to $5 a month. Yeah, and if you can see Steve's face there, his eyes almost popped out of his head. But that's totally true because I store all of my products on Wasabi, all of my bonus items on Wasabi, all of my instant spokesperson videos are on Wasabi, all of my in-stock photos, videos, music, sound effects are all on Wasabi, and people all over the world are downloading that stuff all the time, and it still only cost me $5. On Amazon, it would have cost me, $1,000 a month. And the reason for that is Amazon charges for what they call egress. So if you've got a 1 gig file, a 1 gig video, let's say, and somebody downloads that 1 gig file, you pay for the download of 1 gigabytes. If 10 people do it, you pay for the download of 10 gigabytes. Okay? And so that's what you need to worry about is the download there, not the storage. With Wasabi, you just store, you pay for the storage, and you can download as many times as you want. It's not going to matter. So with S3, you now have a place, or Wasabi, you have a place where you've put your video. Here's the problem. You don't have any way to play that video. So on your website, you now need to have a video player that you can use in order to play that video back. And there are a number of them out there, and I'm going to talk about a couple of my favorites. For me, one of the best ones that I've used is called Press Play, and actually it's Press Play 2. And Press Play 2 is a great player because it not only allows you to store you can either put a YouTube video in there, or you can put one that you've stored on Wasabi or S3 or somewhere else. You put that into the system there, and you build a really nice player. It's got skins around it, so you can make the player look like an iPad, or you can make it look like a TV or a laptop or a desktop. So it gives you a lot of options to make really nice video players. So it's highly recommended. You could check that out, by the way, at and this is a different sort of URL. So it's raythevideoguy.convertry.com/pressplay2. So it's not raythevideoguy.com. It's raythevideoguy.convertry, convertry.com/pressplay2. And that's going to get you access to that. That to me is one of my favorite ones because it's inexpensive. It allows you a lot of versatility in where you store your video, and it allows you to add a lot of embellishments to it. So it's not just making it look like a TV or an iPad or a computer around the player, but you can do things like add buttons to it, add thumbnails. You can add questions, questions on the video. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with it. So it gives you a lot of versatility. So it's highly recommended. Again, raythevideoguy.convertry.com/pressplay2. Now, speaking of that, we're on Convertry with this, with that page there, and that's another one that I want to talk about. If you don't know what Convertry is a funnel builder, so it actually builds your web pages for you. It's one that I use all the time for all of my bonus pages and all of my sales pages and different things like that. And the main reason that I use it is because it's easy to do, it's very visual when you're building it, and people aren't going to hack it like they do with your WordPress sites, which happens to me all the time because I don't keep them up to date enough. You don't have to worry about that with these things. But what we love with this is Convertry actually has now a built-in video player. They just released a new version of it, and this has a video player built in. In fact, it's got a lot of options for video players. It's got a YouTube option, it's got a Vimeo option, it's got a Wistia option, it's got their own built-in embedded player, and of course you can bring in HTML for things like Press Play 2 and whatnot to bring that in there. So you got a lot of options with this, and with the new version of Convertry, you hit just the word video versus YouTube or Vimeo, and it's going to pull up a player right there. You put in your S3 or your Wasabi link, and it's going to automatically set everything up, and right inside the program, you can do things like autoplay and sticky player, where the player follows you down the page. When you scroll down the page, the player pops up and follows you down the page. So there's a lot of different options in there. Some other things that you may want to think about, like I said, Wistia, they have their own player. So that's a player you can use in there. And there are a number of different players out there. Eyeball Glue is another one that you should really pay attention to. They're still getting that one ready. Eyeball Glue is a very, very interesting video player because it's a very different sort of platform. It is not just a player that you would stick on your site. This is more like a full video marketing platform with a video player. So it started off as a video player, but it's much, much more. It does all sorts of crazy things and builds the whole page around it if you want there too. So there's a lot of different options in there. And there are, by the way, a ton of WordPress players out there. So you can go out on the web and you can search up a bunch of different players, and they are all over the place. Many of them have different types of options that you can use. But for me, I really like the Press Play 2. I really like the one that's built into the Convertry platform. Many of the other platforms have that built in as well. I believe ClickFunnels has a built-in platform. Many of the, I believe, and I'll have to talk to my buddy John to make sure that I'm not spreading false rumors here, but I believe in Divi. If you use Divi for your WordPress sites, I believe they have a player that's built in automatically. InstaBuilder has a player that's built into it automatically, so you can use that in there. So a lot of these different types of programs, they have these built into them automatically, so you don't have to worry about them nearly as much as you used to. But this is a great opportunity to be able to really do what you want on there, so that you're not under the control of YouTube with that. So highly recommend that you get your own player, get your own hosting, and that way you can put the video in there yourself. By the way, for those of you wondering if I seem distracted there, we've got a ticker tape that runs on the bottom of the screen here, and a thing popped up about how one of the boxers is drinking cow's blood to prepare for his match, and it was kind of distracting me for a second there because I was seeing it on the screen. We'll have to see a video of that because that would be certainly very interesting. And Steve's holding up signs. I don't know, Steve. Steve says, can I talk? You can certainly try. And let's see if I can hear you. The people can hear you. I don't know if I will or not.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear you at all.
Oh.
So let me see here. Hold on. Let me see if I can do something about that. Oh, you know what? I bet you if I hit this here, now I can probably hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. We got a little feedback there, but Press Play, I assume, is a WordPress plugin?
No, it is not. It is a software as a service platform. So you literally log into Press Play, and you bring in your link for your video because you're going to have it hosted somewhere. You put your link in there, you build your player, and then it gives you the code that you put into your site. So you can put it on a WordPress site, you can put it on a Convertry page, a ClickFunnels page, anything, standard HTML, anything that you want, you can paste it in there, and it should work perfectly fine. So it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to worry about specific platforms or anything. So that's what we like.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Very good.
All right, so that is our little story about embedding videos. And, this one's a little bit shorter than most, I think. We're only about a half hour in. But, hey, you know what? We're not going to drag this out. We want to give you the information that you need so you can take it back and use it. We're not going to overdo our stay here. We're just going to give you what you need, what you know you need. Whether you know it or not and you need it, we're going to give it to you. We're going to give it to you hard. And you're going to take it and you're going to use it.
In a world where you get what you need.
That's right. And by the way, the embed thing on the bottom here keeps going by, talking about how YouTube is going to be removing thousands of videos that have extreme views. So that should be interesting.
Extreme views?
Extreme views as in like personal views, not views like people watching your video. Oh. Extreme views like I'm a Nazi and I made a Nazi video. That's that kind of a thing.
Ooh.
They will start removing that kind of stuff.
Good.
Yeah, well, good and bad because apparently a lot of people are complaining that just political views are being removed even when they're not extreme. So there's, for instance, I know if you're familiar with Prager University, which is Prager University is Dennis Prager. He's I don't even know he's a radio show host, but he does a lot of different things, and he's got this online university where he teaches things like the Constitution and things like that. Now, his views tend to be on the more conservative side, and they've started removing, some of the videos that were removed were things like the history of the U.S. flag and really weird things that were just banned by YouTube for some weird reason. So you got to be careful with that. YouTube, I don't think I honestly don't think they intend to do these things intentionally. I think a lot of times they say, you know what, there's a lot of crazy people that are doing terrible things on YouTube. We need to start cracking down on that, and they set things in motion, and then their automated systems take down all sorts of stuff, and then everybody gets mad. They work on it, they fix it, and that's what happens. They did that when they changed some of the ad things. There was a lot of professional wrestling organizations. They had their stuff. They couldn't advertise anymore, MMA and things like that. And eventually I think it all got fixed. But at first it was like, people were doing these videos. They had these shows and they were making all sorts of money. And all of a sudden YouTube said, oh, you can't have any ads anymore. And they lost everything. literally overnight. Oh, look at this right on the screen if you're watching the video. Prager
yeah.
University finds creative way to bring attention to YouTube censorship. So just as we talk about it, there it is on the Daily Wire. So there we go. So you can see that's going on there. And that's the type of thing I'm talking about. YouTube, you never know when they're going to suddenly say, you know what, we decided your stuff is no good and remove you. I had an issue with that the other day. And what happened to me was I've got a site called raisebonuses.com, and I often use that as the platform on YouTube, so people click on that to go to see a product or what have you. Well, again, that's a WordPress site, and apparently it got hacked in some way. I'm not sure what or how or why or what the hack is, but all of a sudden, when I put a video on and I put a link to that page to get to one of the products and everything, all of a sudden it killed the link and gave me a warning and then gave me a strike. I'm like, whoa, hey, I didn't do anything here, And it was an approved site on YouTube, so it's not like I'm using some unapproved site. This is a link that was approved, and it was in the description. So it was just a link in the description, and because that link in the description, they had a problem with that page now, they gave me a strike on the account for a link because they said the link failed community standards. And I guess, there was some sort of malware on the site or something like that. So there you go.
Well, we record our pastor's sermons, put them on YouTube, and embed them on our website. That channel got brought down, and the only thing I can figure out is they're public. They were public, and I optimized them, but the titles were like sermon with the date and a brief description of the sermon, like 5 words or something. But then I otherwise optimized them. They brought the whole channel down.
That's crazy.
And I appealed it, and they said nope. So I stood up another channel, made them unlisted, and I don't optimize them at all. And so,
Yeah. Well, and I've appealed it and haven't heard anything back yet. So we'll see what happens. But
no.
What are you going to do? These things happen.
Yeah.
So it's just further proof that you got to be careful with these things, because when you put your business or your client's business in the hands of a third party, you don't have that control. And that's why you want to make sure that you've got other options, and putting it onto your page using one of these third-party platforms should help you with that. One thing that I do want to make note of on all of this, though, with Wasabi and S3, they're technically not video streaming sites, so you may run into some issues where it's a little bit slower on occasion. Just be aware of that. It's not always going to be the fastest, so if you need something fast, you may want to check out something like Wistia and see if that takes care of it for you. So there you go. That's all I got to say about all that.
All righty.
All right.
Who made the show possible today?
Well, this show is made possible by myself and David Sprague, because we're doing a wonderful webinar next Thursday that's going to teach you all about a program called Rep Videos, which is not just a program for creating videos, but it is an actual business. I hate using it, business in a box, people always say, and it kind of is, but we hate using that term. But it's an entire system that you can use. It could be an entire business for you in this, because what it does is it allows you to create videos for local businesses, send those videos out to local businesses to get them to come and buy more, and then it allows you to automatically send out new videos all the time and put them out to YouTube and Facebook and Daily Motion and Twitter and wherever else, all these different sites, Tumblr, and it does it all automated or automatically, one of the two. And it's a great program because of that, because you literally, what you do is, let's say you've got a dentist with 100 5-star reviews on Google or 100 5-star reviews on Yelp or some mix in between. What it does is it pulls in all of those reviews, and then it allows you to automatically make a video from each of those reviews. And it's not just a video, with text on there showing the review. It's a full video. There's a spokesperson on every video who talks about the company and the great business that they do. Then it shares the review, and the review shows up on an iPad, and it shows somebody reading it on the iPad, and the people can read it. So it's a full-fledged, really nice video that's made automatically. And you can sit there and go, okay, You've got 100 5-star reviews. I want a video made with this one to go out on this Thursday, and one to go out next Thursday, and one the Thursday after, and Thursday after, and Thursday after. And you now have weeks worth of content that's all just scheduled to go at the touch of a couple buttons. You can go in and get a lot more detailed with it, but you don't have to. You can do just that, and it's going to do all the work for you. You're going to set up the basics. It's going to pull in each review. The videos are going to be the same, with the exception that the review is different, and it's going to spin text your title and your description, so they're not the same on every video, and it's just going to lay those videos out each and every time that you set one for. You can set one for every day, you can set one for every week, or one for every month, and have content going out forever. So imagine they've got these, let's say they've got 200 5-star reviews, and you schedule them up one a week. That's 4 years worth of content that you've got set up and ready to go at one a week. How can you beat that, right? And you collect them. You're going to collect a check every month from them for doing these videos. The videos have value, so you can charge a good monthly fee, and it's just going to run. Now, you can get more intricate. You can go in and you can, adjust each one as they come out and change the YouTube this and that's and whatever. But for the most part, it's going to just do it like clockwork for you, and you don't even have to do much other than make sure that it keeps running, and as new reviews come in, that you add them in and schedule them. So it's very easy. So that's what we're going to do on that webinar. So I hope that you'll join us. It's going to be well worth it, because you're not just going to learn about that. You're going to learn marketing principles that will help you to get new business. Even if you don't get into the Rep Videos program, you're going to learn things that you can use in whatever business that you're currently doing. So it's going to be well worth it regardless. So I highly recommend that you check it out. The link is down below. It's one of them big, long go-to-webinar links, so be sure to check it in the Facebook page down below, or maybe it's above, depending upon where you're seeing it. So check it out in the show notes, and be there Thursday, October 30th, 2019, so that you can learn all about this from David and myself. There you go.
Very cool.
And with that, Steve, I think that brings us to the close of another episode of Video Marketing Madness. So without further ado, I wish we had a Halloween version, but we don't have a Halloween version of the song, although I'm sure this song does creep into people's nightmares quite often anyway. So here it is, the Ray the Video Guy theme song. We'll see you guys next time. Whew, here we go. And did I hit the wrong button again? I hit the wrong button.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.